Hello everyone, this will be the review of game Subdivision Infinity, and the key was provided by developer. It's quite hard to tell you what it is because you might think it's something else. So it's a space simulator, very basic simulator, very arcadey, um, and it's not like Privateer or Elite or anything like it. It's not an in-depth game. It's more like old games, the like of X-Wing or TIE Fighter, but probably those games were more complex because there was more types of ships and more interactions between them. So the game is rather simplistic, however it looks good and it's really fun to play. Actually, I finished it. So I will definitely say that it's a positive experience, but it's not something for people who would be looking for something complex. Also, if you compare it with top-down 2D turn-based or not space games, this is definitely less complicated. So it's not really about trading, about building a fleet of ships, about factions, nothing like it. Additionally, there is some little problems with how it's done technically. Windowed mode is actually borderless for some reason. At least it looks like it's borderless, even though it has additional option as borderless and full screen. So I completely don't get it. And the game is a little bit slow and a little bit choppy sometimes. So, well, it's not very well optimized. There's even some delays when you are picking missions in the menu, in the hangar, even before you play. The game itself is quite okay. It's rather responsive. It's mostly dogfight with some fighting bigger ships and some collecting. Also, the game has very annoying additional mechanic, which makes you go into exploration missions and look for special parts for additional ships. But I generally didn't do it much, so I'm not even gonna show you. I would just say it's very tedious and unnecessary. So that's a bit of a gripe that I have. It wasn't fun at all. The game itself, the missions, the campaign was okay, but the grinding was horrible. It's not even grinding in terms of just collecting stuff and getting things you need. You need to actually find items, and that's really, really annoying. So I'm just gonna show you actually one boss fight in the first world. Let me just go to my game. By the way, there will be spoilers concerning gear because I have most stuff unlocked. So I won't be telling you much about the story, but I will be using my, well, I have only one account anyway, so I kind of have full level. Well, rather full gear than full level. And the level itself is a bit problematic because from what I understand, it only unlocks items up to level 16. So I don't know if it is it unfinished or what, and you don't have any perks, so level is kind of useless. At some point you just get access to all this stuff, and if you can buy it, if you can grind enough resources, mostly money, you just get it, and that's it. That's mostly just unlocking gear. So let's go to hangar. We have a couple of ships. I'm using this one. As you can see, those in gray and black, they are unavailable mostly because you need specific parts called blueprints, right? Mostly those blueprints, from what I understand, need to be found in those exploration missions. It was just so annoying and tedious that I just completely gave up on it. So that's my gripe with the game. That's just not something you get naturally while playing the campaign. You would have to really struggle in those exploration missions. But you don't need it. I just got another ship and finished the game. A shop. Now you have guns. You have basically 8 guns, and sadly, actually the gun number 3 or 4, actually it's this one. Yeah, laser. This happened to be the most efficient from what, all the guns I tested. I tested last two ones actually. I didn't test the shot blast and the LRG, but so far it was just the best weapon. So it's quite weird. You do have 8 weapons, but many of them are very inefficient. And then you have 2 types of missiles. A mining tool for exploration, which is just a laser beam that cuts asteroids. And then you have radar probes. They're quite expensive, and you have to buy them to try to find those blueprints. So that's very, very, very annoying. Also, there is one problem with replaying missions. You don't get many resources or money or anything when you replay a mission. You will see it because we will probably beat a boss. So grinding is rather hard. You don't get much overall. You could do the exploration and try to sell parts of asteroids, mostly various ores. But aside from that, you generally speaking go through campaign. You get nice rewards for beating the mission first time, but then grinding becomes a core and it's really annoying. It's very slow. If you were to just get like 10 of these, you know, make 50,000, then doing it by replaying missions would take very long time. Inventory, well, you have your ship. It uses either one or two weapons and a missile. If you're going to exploration, instead of missile, you use the mining laser, and that's pretty much it. You just have a ship with pew gun, and that's it. Miscellaneous, that's generally stuff you collect. So I got some blueprints. I got some stuff to upgrade weapons and ship. So you can evolve ship once, and you can upgrade your gear up to level 5. Here, if we do it, see, this is the cost, right? I could theoretically do it, but I would need money, so I would need to grind 6,000. Generally speaking, I'm done with the game. It took me around 8 hours. Possibly I was idling a bit. So I will show you first world. I think there's 5 worlds, and first world would be like this. Sometimes it kind of lags here, but now it didn't. So basically you have 5 missions that ends with boss fight, 2 exploration missions, and it's the same for every world. So you have 25 missions and additional 10 missions of exploration, and that's the game. So it's not long, it's not a lot of it, it's fully linear, but it was actually fun to play. I finished all the missions, so I can recommend the game because it's just nice to play. However, it's not a big thing that you might think it is. So just be aware. This is arcadey. This is simple and basic. Looks good, but if you want complexity, you won't find it here. Right, so I will just kill one boss in the first world. I don't think it's gonna be much of a spoiler. I'm pretty sure it's, well, maybe not exactly a generic enemy, but at some point you'll be fighting very similar enemies as just slightly bigger ships. So as you can see, it looks really good. The map of the environment is just beautiful. The stuff that you see, the space basically, it's full of asteroids and other constructions. And now I'm gonna just attack with my guns. Well, that's how you fight. So basically you have to shoot the guy. Then usually there is some gimmick. In this case you have to kill those well, drones. We also have fighters coming, but they are not a big problem. I have like 4 times bigger shield than a starting ship, so I should be able to do it. You can also collect stuff that drops from the boss and that drops from the drones, and sometimes even from the small fighters. I will try now to spam the guy with missiles, and he might die very quickly. Right. So boss is down. That's how you fight. And let me just collect some stuff. Yeah, there is a little bit of story usually. Then you collect the leftovers or not, depending on the mission. So you get the gear crate for upgrading weapons. You get ship upgrades if you need them, or if you might need them. I think you can also sometimes heal or get more missiles, but generally speaking, it's not that necessary. If you can take a little bit damage to shield and then regenerate, then it's not a problem. See, this is easy. Very strong weapon. I have 2 of them. You start with 1 weapon, not as good as this one, so it takes more time. But as you can see, this is generally very easy to understand dogfight, like in No Man's Sky or like in X-Wing or X-Wing Alliance or TIE Fighter or any other similar game. But I have to say that if you think this is some sort of Unity-based horrible game that barely works, that's not the case. This actually is playable, it is responsive. I personally very much enjoyed the combat and the slow unlocking of weapons and getting new stuff, testing new weapons, testing new ships, getting stronger and eventually beating it. Sometimes it was harder, sometimes it was easier, just depends if you're careful, if you're rushing, if you know what you're doing. But overall it wasn't very hard. I had to replay a couple of boss fights and I messed up a mission or two, but aside from that it wasn't that hard. In 8 hours I was able to finish the game. So you just go there and you reach the waypoint and that's it. So I'm gonna stop here, guys. I'm not gonna show you the exploration mission because it's just very tedious. You have to run into, well, fly into asteroid. Maybe I will show you just the, well, actually I could just show you the map and we're gonna probably stop there. So just for the sake of it I will start a mission, but I won't be going for it because it's just really annoying. I would have to change to mining laser probably. I'm not even sure if you need to mine. Maybe you just have to go and find the yeah, you have to find the containers, right? So basically I guess that you have to go into, let's say, this. I'll actually try to do it. By the way, please get rid of motion blur because I hate it and it's not in the options. So that's really making it unnecessarily ugly. See, this is beautiful, right? If I speed up, it's just a mess for no reason. You're just wasting a good graphic on the game that already has good graphics. Kinda pointless in my opinion. I'm not sure if I should go there. Probably not. Yeah, that's not the door. See, there is probably some way into the asteroid somewhere, right? Maybe. Maybe that's the case. So you just end up flying around like an idiot, looking for entry. Maybe you need something to do the entry. I don't even remember. You need some key or anything. I don't even know where is the way in, to be honest. If there is a way in. Maybe there isn't. Maybe I'm just... Yeah, I'm probably just going to run in circles. I'm pretty sure there is a way into some of them. Into some of the asteroid. And that's the case. To find the container inside. You can also cut the asteroids with laser and get some loot, but that's mostly just ore. So you would still have to get the blueprints somehow. I really have no idea where they are, to be honest. Like there's this contraption here. I guess again it's an asteroid with maybe some way in somewhere. But where is it? No idea. It doesn't say. It should be like you should be able to lock in on this and see the entrance or anything like it, or dock into it if it's a station or something. But it's just really nasty. Well, you don't really explore the space. You just cut down asteroids and get into big asteroids somehow. And that's the case here. So, well, there is, I guess, some combat as well, but that's not that important. Yeah, see, this is connected with those pillars, right? I don't think you can run through the pillar. So maybe we'll try to go around it. It's just very confusing, to be honest. Maybe that's the way in, right? Because that's bigger. No, it's cut off. It doesn't lead to the asteroid. So I'm just giving up here probably. Yeah, I have no idea where to go, to be honest. You know, maybe it opens eventually or something. You don't cut it from what I know, so that's not the case. Right, and then you will eventually find some ships. I can actually kill one, we'll see what happens. If I can, of course. What is it? It's just a small ship that does nothing. Yeah. Well, if I had the drones, which I don't, well, I can, yeah, I could do the scanning. It will show me the asteroids that are able to be cut. Yeah, the green ones can be cut. Sorry for the motion blue, but there's no way to cut it off. So basically, you find asteroids and you cut them with laser, and then you launch the probes that cost 5,000 apiece, and you can find a way in somehow. You basically find a way in. I will maybe go back to the teleport and out of here. So from what I understand, there is some way into the asteroid. And one time in a previous mission, I went into the asteroid. There was a box, and there was like one blueprint and 3,000 money inside. Generally speaking, you get more from selling stuff or from doing missions, but there was a small reward. But mostly it was about finding each and every blueprint, probably in those asteroids, and then you could buy a better ship, which is, in my opinion, completely unnecessary to beat the game. So if you're a completionist, you might go for it, but it's not done in a good way, the whole exploration thing. So overall, I would give this game 7 out of 10 because I really liked the way it was put together, the way it looked, and I like the combat. And there isn't much content, but it just makes sense. You go into one short mission, then another, and after 25 missions, you're done. You can get new ships, you can get new gear, you can test weapons, and just beat it. Just go through it, right? You go uh, from mission to mission. There is some stuff going on. Sometimes you have to destroy a part of, well, part of outpost. So basically you shoot stuff around an asteroid. Sometimes you kill a small item called the jammer. Sometimes you fight capital ships. There isn't many of them, but there is a few. And overall you just keep going. You fight a lot of small fighters in a dogfight. And then if you really want to, you can do the exploration. If you can stock on those drones. Well, not drones. How are they called? They're called something. Yeah, probes, radar probes, right? So basically you have to get those and then do the exploration, then buy the ship you don't even need. But if you just buy a ship for money, like I did, right? I just grinded enough money, I bought the ship, I bought 2 weapons, I beaten the game. So 8 hours of nice dogfighting in space for quite a lot of money actually. I would say that, well, the price of the game is not the best. I mean, if you're into space games, you would probably be better off with something else because you would get much more for your money. So I think it should be cheaper. However, it is fun to play, but you will probably get only 8 hours out of it, maybe plus exploration if you want to do it. I didn't, so I just gave up on it, but I beaten the game. So 8 hours of fun plus exploration. I personally give it 7 out of 10. I think it's a bit overpriced for what it offers, but it's not a bad game by any means. I can recommend if you like space arcade shooters. However, I would definitely grab it on sale. So that would be just my opinion. It's overall positive. I enjoyed it, but now I'm deinstalling because there's nothing for me to do here. I just did all the missions, and well, I'm just done. Not sure if the game is gonna be improved, to be honest. I think it's out of early access. It's been out for quite a long time. Some people said it's a remake of a game from a mobile device. I don't know if it's true, but I'm not really seeing any improvement to be happening here. I just, well, it is what it is, right? You have 2 types of missiles and 8 guns and 25 missions in campaign, so I don't think they would add a lot, even if they could. They would have to completely change the whole exploration thing, probably make the game much longer to like 100 missions, add completely new ships, add types of ships, maybe some wingmen or some bigger ships with turrets. Some people asked for it. It would need to be also much more complicated. The level would need to have a meaning so that you would have some sort of perk system, maybe add multiplier. So there would be a lot of work to do here if you would be to change it into something more valuable. I think the game is just done. It is what it is, and well, if you want those 8 hours, you can have it. But I would personally buy something else for this much money. I would buy maybe Star Traders and enjoy much more complex gameplay for much longer, or I would maybe actually invest in Elite or something like this. I don't really play those games that much, especially if they have roguelike elements or MMO, but I did play some older games like Privateer 2 or X, and I liked those, but they were also much more complex. So yeah, this is actually an arcade shooter with dogfight. It's not a complex space game, but it was fun. So guys, that was Subdivision Infinity, 7 out of 10, and I will see you guys in the next review.